House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Okay, it is Tuesday. We are going to talk about property, but not before here on House to Home. We wish our very own Liz Duenas a happy 40th wedding anniversary. Golf clap, round of applause. Congratulations. God, Gina, you just had your 35th the other day, and now Liz, you are celebrating your 40th. So
yeah.
Congratulations to you and Uncle John.
Yeah, blissful.
Yeah,
totally.
If there's anything the two of you know more about real estate, and I can't imagine that there's anybody who knows more about real estate, it is how to manage a very happy and productive marriage. So congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
We work hard at both.
Exactly. Well, okay, and that is the perfect way to contextualize what I want to talk about today, because working hard and setting up like a family relationship, right? We've talked before about how important it is to set your will, your last wishes for property, how property is divided, and because you don't want siblings, cousins, descendants of someone who's passed on, whatever, to start like squabbling about property, right? How about the opposite condition, ladies? Like, what if you have a whole bunch of siblings and property that's passed down to them, everybody's on the same page, everybody's okay? How does it get divided? And then what if people want to like make use of that, but everyone's okay with the arrangement? They're not squabbling.
Well, it's a little different. So if let's say your dad, there's two of you, and your dad decided to deed the property prior to his passing, of course, there's paperwork that would state that it's a deed of gift, for example, to you and your sister. Now, if something happened where he passed and he did not deed the property, then of course it goes to probate. You would have to take it to court, because you can't just take the property without having it legally done. So when you hire an attorney and you go to probate, let's say there's 5 of you. So 5 siblings have equal claim to the property, unless, let's say, dad said, hey, Jason, I'm giving it to you.
Because I'm the oldest.
Just for you. But then all of the 4 family members will have to say, okay, we'll relinquish our title and quit claim our interest to you, and then you could take the property. But if all the remaining siblings decide, no, we want our share, so then their name will also have to appear on the deed. So there's 5 of you linked together in the ownership of the property. Now, unless they decide, let me sell my interest to you, and you bought the remaining 4 out, then of course, then your name will be on the title. But all of that has to be in agreement. Gina and I have experienced on the island that sometimes siblings aren't all in agreement, and it creates a bigger problem. So everybody has to be in sync in terms of how the deed should be written out, in terms of who owns it. So just remember, if all 5 of you's names are on the deed, then nothing could be done to sell the property or to subdivide the property unless all 5 agree. Okay,
now Gina, I've got a question for you. Total hypothetical, right? So like Liz said, myself and my other theoretical siblings, right? 5 of us equally divide a property that was given to me by my dad, right? What if I get married, my sister has a kid, my other theoretical, like some, common law husband, whatever like that. Now you've got all of these interests who technically and legally are probably part of the family.
So
how does it work then?
So if you received the property through probate, okay, so you inherited the property through probate, then your spouse does not automatically get title to the property. It is considered sole and separate property. And this is what we've learned from our attorney friends over the years, and from doing different, transactions over the years. If the property you acquired, if the property that you're talking about was received through a court probate, then it is your sole and separate property. Of course, once you pass, then that property goes to your heirs. So now if you own the property with 5 other people, whether they're your siblings or not, let's maybe they're not your siblings, maybe it's a partnership and it's one property, so you cannot legally cut it up into 5 pieces so each person has their share. But let's say you're married, but you received this property through probate. You don't, that property belongs to you, sole and separate. But if something happens to you, now your heirs are entitled to your interest once something happens to you, but you have to go through probate to do that. So, when it comes to ownership and title, we really strongly recommend, whenever Liz and I have any kind of questions, we call an attorney that we're working with or somebody that the family knows and has used before. We call for advice because it isn't just the ownership itself, but how you take title that is significantly going to affect what happens to your family member, your heirs, or just your partners. Let's say you own the property with partners, and the intent is that only the 5 of you are going to own the property. And that if something, let's say I'm one of the partners with you, Jace, and the intent is we all bought the property together so that we, the 5 of us, can own it. And the intention is if something happens to me, my shares will go to the remaining 4. And if something, that's the intent. It goes right to one of the partners or all of the partners to undivided. The way you get your title and the way you word your title and the type of title you receive, which an attorney can go over all of that with you, is going to determine how successful that title passing from one person to another is going to be and how much it's going to cost you. Because if you don't do it right in the beginning, you will end up in court to clean that up. And there are situations where perhaps, Jace, the 5 of us, we got along really great and we all agreed and the intention was there about what to do. But then I pass away, and of course my shares in our title, it didn't say that my shares will go to my partners. So then my shares go to my heirs, and you don't get along very well with my heirs. And my heirs have decided that even though they knew the intent, well, I'm gone and I didn't leave anything in writing stating my intention is to pass my shares to the 4 of you. And so now my heirs want either their share or to be compensated so that they can have money for what that was worth. And this is a lot of thinking in the beginning so that you could do it right. And you're planning for the end, really. But if you don't have these conversations in the beginning, the end could be a big mess.
Liz, how do you recommend people start that? Because, I know a lot of people, they don't want to address it because it deals with mortality. And like Gina very fittingly said, it deals with the end. These are difficult things to think about.
You know what I always ask family, because Gina and I meet with so many family members, and sometimes we'll have all of them. And if I would have all of them in a room, and I would ask, let's say the mom or the dad, what is your intent? Did you plan to deed the property to all your children? And is the intent so that they can benefit from the use of the property or from the sale of the property? And then if they have a particular intent, then the next step was, okay, once we know what your intent is, then we need to formulate that into either a will or a deed so that it's reflective when they pass. And then, of course, we need an attorney. So we recommend that people go to their current attorneys, or we would say, here's a list of attorneys that do prepare documentation to reflect your intent. And it's always best to know, because if mom or dad are alive, the mom's intent is, okay, I'm giving it to you and your 5 siblings, Jason, and this is what I want to be done. But the problem is, after mom passes, afterwards, sometimes family members have differences of opinion and therefore they can't move forward. So sometimes the property is big enough that they could subdivide it and each of them can get their share and walk away, which is perfect. So when Gina and I meet, when we always ask, how big is the property? Where's the map? What's the size? Yes, you could probably subdivide it and everybody gets their equal share. But if you're looking at a small piece of property, there's no way you can cut that piece up unless it's sold and then the proceeds equally distributed to the heirs.
Yeah.
I know
Listen,
it can get complicated.
I can only imagine what you guys have to go through. I mean, you know, just hearing it, you know, kind of makes the hair on my arm stand. But I mean, you guys deal with this each and every day, man. It's your 40th anniversary. This is a day of celebration. This is a happy. We don't need drama. Go take care of that, people.
But you know, Jace, it's important, and you're absolutely right. It is a hard conversation to have. And I find sometimes, because it's a difficult conversation, it's easier to have somebody outside of the family member. It's easier to have like I had a really dear friend of mine. She was sick, and she, you know, so she called me one day and told me what was going on. And I took it upon myself to prepare some documents for her to sign. She said, I'm leaving Ireland. I'm going off for treatment. And I said, okay, I need you to take care of some things. And we had a really rough conversation. She was so upset with me because I went ahead and prepared documents that would, just in case anything happened, it would have taken care of her situation. She wouldn't, you know, her family wouldn't have to deal with the nightmare of what are we going to do?
There's the key point.
Yeah. And so she was really, you know, she was upset with me. So when she showed up to look at these documents, she got upset and left, didn't want to sign anything. She was so stressed out that I would even ask her to do this. And I think a day or 2 days later, she called me and said, if the documents are still there, I want to sign them. So she did. She came in, she signed it. And 8 months later, she never made it back on island. She was never able to come back. That the treatment didn't go as she planned. And so she ended up not being able to come back. And that was like, for her family, that was like the best thing that could have happened. They didn't have to, I mean, everything just flowed smoothly because she had the courage to say, you know, I know I'm coming back, but, you know, I just want to plan just in case. And it worked out. But yeah, it's a hard conversation. Your family member, your friend is not going to appreciate you doing it. Let's say it, you know, it's my conversation with my mom. By the way, I tried to pull that with my mom. It didn't work. She just refused to sign.
Yep.
But
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
so, you know,
But you know, that's why they call it tough love.
yeah, well, my mom was tougher than me. She didn't sign.
We do get calls from people, and we always ask, for example, they want to deed it to their daughter. For example, I just got a call the other day. I want to deed it to my daughter. And I said, well, what's the intent? Do you want her to keep the property? Because there are different ways to deed it. And the problem is, if I deed my land to you or my house to you, Jason, because you're my son, and later I want to get a mortgage on it because I need the money, then it gets complicated. Or my daughter, or you could sell it, and then I'm left out of a home. So there's so many different factors. So that's why it's critical. Where Gina, we always ask, what is it? What's your plan? What do you want to do? What's your future goal with this? Because if you do one thing, it will affect your ability to leverage the property, sell it, or whatever. So we always ask, what's the intent? Because, and then we could give them advice that, hey, if you did this, you can't do this later.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I know, you know, everybody watching right now, it is a very, very difficult conversation to have, as Liz and Gina have both said. It's a difficult step to take, but you know, I don't think you can quantify and put like a dollar amount on family drama if siblings or people that grew up together start fighting and possibly not even speak for very long periods of time just because like they're quarreling over property. You don't want that to happen. So
No.
again,
So have the conversation now while you are still around to have it.
there you
Plan.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Liz, please take us out on a happy note. But please tell us what it means to be married for 40 years to a very wonderful man.
He's wonderful. I'm still in love. I still chase him around.
Eee.
A blissful marriage.
I witnessed it.
Okay, so let's end this. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hearts for everybody. Liz, happy 40th anniversary. Gina, where's your heart?
Wait, I still haven't learned how to do that. Okay.
There you go. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jace.